I got breaking Philadelphia sports news. I'm not going to tell you what that breaking news is, but just remember that when that news breaks, that I told you about the breaking news here first. I don't even know if that makes sense saying it out loud like that. Trending in the AM with something random breaking news that I can't tell you about. Live, taking your opinions, thoughts on all things Philly sports in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You know the drill. Hit those like, share, subscribe, retweet buttons wherever you are watching on any platform you are watching. I'd greatly appreciate that. I am your host every single morning here on this show, Phil Stiefel, and you can find me any platform I'm on at Bearded Knowledge. We got lots to talk about today. Jam-packed show, 9 o'clock, Wednesdays with Justin Crosby. Talking Sixers, so stay tuned for that in about an hour. And today, other topics that I want to cover are some Eagles conversations, some Philly conversations, but we got to start with maybe some basketball conversations too. But before Justin gets here, but the stupid comments that come out of media people's mouth. I just tried to make a joke in the cold open of this show, and it just sounded stupid coming out of my mouth. So how does Mr. Craig Cartoon or whatever the hell his name is think it was right for him to go on a national media show and say, I know what the problem is with the Eagles, and it's going to come out, but I can't tell you what that big news is. I can't tell you what the problem was. I know what it was, but I can't tell you. Doesn't it sound stupid when you say it out loud? Like, we know there was a problem in that Eagles locker room. There was a lot of problems with the Philadelphia Eagles towards the end of 2023. There are a lot of different things that could happen that could have caused the downfall of our beloved Eagles. A lot of things. And we spent time yesterday crushing Chris Sims and his idiocracy and stuff like that. And that's what it is. But I don't even know who this Chris Cartoon guy is. I don't even know if his name's Cartoon, really. I'm just calling him Cartoon. But there's a problem with the Eagles. I know what it is, but I'm not going to tell you. I don't want to cuss on my own show, but get the fuck out of here. Like, what kind of conversation is that? What makes you go on a major national platform? What does the major national platform think allowing someone to come on their show and say something like that? Like, it's insanity. It's craziness. I know what went wrong with the Eagles. You just can't be told. I'm just not going to tell you. It just sounds stupid. Like if you've got inside sources to a situation that went down in Philadelphia that caused this collapse, if there's a player that's going to leave, or if there's a fracture in the locker room, or if there's a beef or something, you got to give more to the story than that. And if you don't want to reveal your sources, that's fine. Oh, man, there's got to be more to the story than just what he said there live. Not even literally live on the air. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it one bit. I'm not sure what he thought he would accomplish by saying that. I don't know what he thought the reaction from everyone across, not just in Philly, across the board, would be to that. Excuse me. It's just shocking that is what came out of this. That's a spam. I'm interested in buying paid guest posting. Yeah, I don't know what that is. You get to reach out on that. Eagles draft good. They need to draft good, little G, for sure. Oh, battle a little something there. Get that cleared up. Guys, we know there were problems with the Eagles. What Craig Cartoon said yesterday on whatever, I don't even know what network he was on. It was a national network. Maybe it was Fox. Maybe it was ESPN. I don't even care. I ain't going to watch it. But, and Leo, if you're legit, send a DM to the show or to any of the accounts linked in the show, and we'll talk if you're legit. Like, what did he hope to accomplish? We know the Eagles had an issue. There was definitely some problems in the Eagles locker room. There was some divide. There was some coaching miscommunication. There are just plain old simple issues with the Philadelphia Eagles. But stating the obvious, then saying I can't give you details, just seems to be asinine, stupid. The offseason stinks. I mean, there's so much to talk about in the offseason. Like, I want to spend time today talking about the Eagles running back situation. But instead, I'm sitting here because there are things you can discuss on a daily basis. And in a national show, you're not just covering one team, you're covering all the teams. So you could stretch the offseason out easily. Me, I'm doing 90 minutes a day just talking Philly sports here, and I'm trying to stretch the offseason out. And I'm not having a problem doing it. You don't see me coming up with idiocracy type comments just to get an extra click. I could say something stupid, but I won't. That's just not my way of doing things. But even when I say bold, weird, crazy, hot takes, or takes that are not agreeable to some people, like my Bryce Harper takes, and we're going to talk about that some more today. Like, at least I say it in a fair way, or in a conversing way where we can have a debate or discussion. I give you reasons why I think my way. I give you room to say your thing. I don't just make baseless, bold, dumb comments just to make them. Why did Eagles sign Barkley? They did not sign Saquon Barkley. They are not going to sign Saquon Barkley, but we will get into that because that was going to be my main Eagles topic of the day before I decided to go off on this dumbass tangent here about some dude with the name Cartoon. I mean, why not? You got Simpleton, you got Silly Man, and now you got Mr. Cartoon. Public enemies in Philadelphia right now. He implied that it was with a woman and a high-profile player. His wife is a big Eagles fan. Maybe we'll find out even though the season is over. All right, well, so maybe look at Dave coming in fire here with actual more details on the situation. Implied, okay. So he's not stating it, but he implied. Oh, man, when women get involved between men, now there is a problem. And if this is true, yeah. You know, this is the kind of thing that could cause. So he did imply also that somebody will be leaving the team, a major player. But the way he implied, I mean, Kelce might be leaving the team because he's retiring. Hassan Reddick might get traded if he doesn't get his contract extension. He could just swing his comments any way he wants. But if it comes out that there was an issue over a wife or a woman or whatever, then that's something else. And we'll have to see how that plays out in the offseason. What's up, Michael? Funny thing is that everyone was so fast to report about Alshon and Carson. But why flirt? There is something is wrong and can't talk about it. Yeah, like everybody was ready to bury Alshon or Carson or whoever. You know, nobody in the media was afraid to, throw anyone under the bus for any reason then. But now this Craig Cartoon doesn't want to drop anybody's name, scared to drop anyone's name. Stop. AJ Brown is gone. Andrew Brown is not going. Unless he's the center of some massive controversy that, Dave is mentioning here in the comments. Unless he's part of something like this, there's no way AJ Brown is gonzo. It's just not. Only one guy was an AC during our Tampa playoff game. Look at Dave. Dave's doing some hypothetical investigative journalism here. And I love you, Dave, and I appreciate your support every morning. But you're spreading rumors. You are. I don't know. I didn't know this was the route that this conversation was going to go. Maybe I should have done more digging on my own. And, we discussed at the time whether A.J. Brown not being with the team during the playoffs was the right thing or not. And again, I don't know. I mean, he was injured during the regular season. Injured players don't typically travel with the team. Injured players that have been ruled out ahead of time don't typically travel. It was the playoffs, and he is one of your leaders and captains of the team, so maybe he should have traveled. We can only hope. We can only hope it was Quez, and Quez is the guy that's not going to be here. Isn't Quez a free agent anyway? So, Quez would have to be actually signed to be brought back, I think. But yeah, I didn't care at the time that A.J. Brown didn't come to Tampa for the playoff game. I understand why some people were upset about it. But man, we're really trying to stir something up there. I don't know. But see, you know what? All right. Now maybe he went into further detail and that didn't get maybe that didn't get clipped up like the initial comments that are circulating all over social media. Maybe he did say more on the show. And I'm only overreacting to the part that I saw. But when I say it out loud, and I will say it again, it just sounds so idiotic. When you go on a show and you say, I know what the Eagles' problem was. I can't tell you, but I know what the problem was. Just say that out loud to yourself. Don't listen to me say it. Don't read the words. Don't listen to him say it. Say it out loud to yourself. I'm saying it out loud. Well, there was 20 now. There's only 16 people watching. Say it out loud. I know what the problem was, but I'm not going to tell you. It's like, what are we thinking here? Well, if you're so tired, grab a cup of coffee or go take a nap. You're a young man. Take some vitamins if you're tired. It's 8:12 in the morning. You shouldn't be tired yet. I'm tired, but that's another subject. I agree, and his co-host gave him crap about bringing it up, but not spilling the beans. Okay. See, I don't watch these national sports shows on TV. They are cartoon characters, not to use the play on words, of what they used to be. These shows used to be entertaining. I remember when First Take first started as a show called Cold Pizza. You had Jay something and the chick, she does NCAA college basketball for CBS. They were great. First Take was just like a segment on the show. What is up, Mitchie Poo? We are talking about Craig Cartoon. We are going to talk Eagles running back situation a lot today. We got Sixers with Justin Crosby at 9 a.m. And, of course, the Phillies Bryce Harper situation on the table. All those are part of the conversation today. Or whatever you want to talk about, Mitchie Poo, just drop it in the comment section. The problem was Aqua Bone. I thought it was Bowman. Now we're adding an N in there. Was there always an N in there? I don't know. Woody Page. When Woody Page choked out Skippy Payless. When First Take was like a debate segment and it rotated. Dude, Cold Pizza? That was prime morning show talk right there. Like, then these egos got out of hand. And you got Stephen A. Smith, and you got you got Skip Payless. You got all these guys, and the shows in the morning on TV, I don't watch them. I refuse to. I had it on in the background while working from home. I remember Cold Pizza too. It was, dude, who were the two people? Who were the two people? I don't even remember. It was Jay something, and the chick that was his co-host, and they had a really good run. I always think that she had a thing for him, even though he was married. But that was a side subject. It was good quality entertainment. Cold Pizza was a good show. Let's talk about how Pat Bev is a crybaby. Hashtag crybaby. Is he a Cody crybaby, Mitch? Pat Bev? Look, I get what Pat Beverly is doing. He's pandering to his new fans and his new team. But man, when your own coach is saying he didn't want to be there? How can you stick up for your team? We're going to talk basketball with Justin at 9 o'clock when he joins us for 20 or so minutes, and I'll get his thoughts on Pat Beverly and Doc Rivers and whatnot. But, man, it's pathetic what's going on in Milwaukee. We've got our own problems in Philly, though, Mitch. And I got a poll I'm going to run after the show to talk about tomorrow on the show. Who's most important with the Sixers and stuff. But, yeah, we got our own problem. Milwaukee, that is not our problem anymore. It lasted about 1 year. Cold pizza lasted a lot longer than 1 year. Maybe it changed. They changed its name, but the format of cold pizza lasted more than 1 year. There is way too many of these shows now doing irresponsible journalism, saying they're all experts. That is why I don't watch them. They give me headaches and heart attacks. You're spot on here, Michael, and I appreciate you checking in, my man. I don't know if I've noticed you in the comments of this. I don't claim to be a journalist. I don't claim to be an expert. I just claim to be a guy that hosts a show in the morning to give you people, the listeners, a platform to give me your opinions. Because all these supposed experts, even the half-ass nitwit content creators out there, they all think they're experts. I never claimed to be an expert. I've never claimed to have a source. Never claimed anything. I just want to talk and debate. And all opinions are welcome on this show, on all topics. So that's what this show is all about. I told everyone that this was going to happen, and they were telling me that we lost the trade deadline. The Sixers? Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm trying to talk Eagles, but now on an Eagles day, everybody wants to talk JJ Redick, man. He's getting crushed. Pat Bev, Glenn Rivers. Then I saw Glenn Rivers' son, Austin Rivers, sticking up for his pops, calling out JJ Redick for his comments. Like, God, there is drama in the NBA. There's drama. Hell, Pat Bev is standing up for his coach and his team and pandering to his new fans. Yet you got Doc Rivers that doesn't want to be there. Then you got Dame Lillard naming his 5 the 5 best players in the NBA, and he withholds Giannis Antetokounmpo's name from the list. Like, is he just trying to dig his way out of? He wanted to go to Miami anyway. He's just trying to get his way to Miami, a little detour in Milwaukee. Like, the drama in Milwaukee. There's going to be a scenario where next year Milwaukee has to have another head coach, and they have to pay 4 head coaches next year to coach their team. It's insanity. Whatever drama is going on in Milwaukee trumps anything that we have faced in Philadelphia, like between the Sixers, between the Eagles over the last 5 years. I mean, it's insane. Legitly insane what the Bucks are going through. I don't even know what the aggro Craig is, so we're just going to let that one go right over my head. JJ's take felt like he was also taking up for Ben after the whole Hawks series. Maybe. He won a green trophy. Who? What? What? Buzzkill? I don't know what you're talking about. When you say something that I don't know what you're talking about, I know maybe there's a chance that I'm just missing the point, but man, how do you compound a coaching mistake? Hire Glenn to replace that said coach. How do you compound a coaching mistake? You go to a coach that tells you, I don't know why you're doing this. I don't think this is right. I don't want to coach a team mid-season. And they're like, but that's what we want. And he's like, all right, yeah, I'll collect another paycheck. I had a couple months off. Sure. Why not? Make somebody in PR in Milwaukee or that works for Doc Rivers' agent or something needs to get Doc Rivers off a microphone. All-Star break. He has spewed so much nonsense on live mics, on hot mics over the last week. Like, I mean, it's more honesty that we've gotten out of Doc Rivers in the last week than we did the last 3 years in Philly. But man, the guy had to go and like the guy had an entire novel of excuses And he's already run through them all. He's already into the novel of excuses part 2. Like, it's insanity what's going on there. If we are being truthful, Glenn never owned up for anything. But I don't think there's any doubt that we're being truthful on that. Glenn is a blame. He's a finger pointer. Never takes responsibility. It is what it is with Glenn Rivers. Not good. That's what we'll say it is. It's a corny reference to Nickelodeon Guts. Oh. I was more of a Double Dare fan than Guts, or a Legend of the Hidden Tomb, or You Can't Say That on Television. There's one for you. You want to go back in time. Reruns of it were always on Nickelodeon when I was a kid. It was actually from the early 80s. I think it was from Canadian TV somewhere. TV show called You Can't Do That on Television. If you don't know what that one is, look that one up. Side little note. It's where Alanis Morissette got her start as an actress versus a singer. I think it was Alanis Morissette. Yeah, Alanis Morissette. It's a funny little story. It's where the green slime came from that Nickelodeon does. But man, we got our own controversies in Philly. We don't have to worry about Glenn Rivers and Pat Beverly and Doc Rivers and J.J. Redick. We don't have to worry about that. We don't. Because we got to worry about that there's a big issue in our locker room with the Philadelphia Eagles, and somebody knows what it is, but he's not going to tell anybody about it. Like, why are we worried about Glenn Rivers? Why are we worried about that? I want to know who the problem is in Philadelphia. I want to know who's the one that I got to worry about. We got Dave saying in the comments that there's a woman involved. Now, that's what it is. And if that's the case, if a woman is involved, if someone stole someone's woman or someone cheated on someone's woman, I don't know. That person probably will be gone. Dave Gates. So Bleeding Green Nation, BGN. Yeah, that's right. Had us drafting a running back from Wisconsin in round 4. Let's get to the real conversations here. Yeah, that's right. I like how Dave knows what I wanted to talk about today and trying to get me on track. A running back from Wisconsin in the 4th round. Well, first off, shout out to Bleeding Green Nation. I don't really do much with them. I don't listen to them too much anymore. But of course, my man, Shane Half, does do work for them, and I love Shane Half. He's a great friend of the show, and he's been on here plenty of times. So I always make sure I check out Shane's work on Bleeding Green Nation. Bleeding Green Nation need a morning show? No, I'm just kidding. Running backs. That was what I wanted to talk about today, Eagles-wise, before Mr. Cartoon decided to clown us with these idiotic comments. So I ran a poll yesterday when I decided running backs were going to be the conversation today. Ran a poll on my Twitter page, okay? And it is, what would you rather, Eagles Nation? Derrick Henry on a 2-year deal, DeAndre Swift on a 4-year deal, or other options. So here's the poll. There's over 400 votes on this poll in less than 24 hours. Give me King Henry was option A. Keep Swifty was option B. Option C was neither. I want Saquon Barkley. And option D was all three can kick rocks. Okay? So let's think about this. First off, the results at right this point. Now we're up to 415 votes. 16% of the people, so that would be about 60 people out of the 415 voted for give me King Henry. 57% want us to keep DeAndre Swift. That is about 230 of the 415 votes. 13.7% said neither. I want Saquon Barkley. So that's another 50 people that want Saquon Barkley here. And final option 3, all three can go. Don't want any of them. 13% voted for that. What do you want the Eagles to do at running back? Now, I was reading an article before the show, and it was talking about what, I think it was actually on PhillySportsNetwork.com, from our own writer, Liam Jenkins, boss man. Someday Liam will be back on the air live once he gets his life situated. He put in his article that the expected average value for DeAndre Swift will be about $6.5 million, which is basically what Miles Sanders signed average contract year with the Carolina Panthers. He did like a 4-year, $26 million. So the question is, do you want to keep DeAndre Swift? Will you be okay if Howie Roseman does something he hasn't done since DeMarco Murray was here? Pay a running back. Would Howie do it? The first question is, would Howie do it? That is part one, okay? For sure. Part two is, would DeAndre Swift be considering taking a slightly discounted rate? We got it. We took a chance on him last year, gave him the rock. All right, well, you're still young. Give us a little bit. Would he accept, say, a 3 or $15 million deal? If that's the case, lock it up right now. Or C, will a team pay more than Howie's willing to go? And if he does go, then you've got to think, obviously, the two big names, Saquon Barkley. I don't want Saquon Barkley here. And King Henry. I think before you decide on Henry, Swift, Saquon, drafting someone from Wisconsin in the 4th round, going out and finding the next Jordan Howard or Rashad Penny, on the free agent market, whatever you do. Tony Pollard's a free agent. I know people are going to link him here because of Kellen Moore. I should have put his name in the poll too. What is Kellen Moore's offense going to look like? And B, because a lot of people want King Henry, and the poll shows that people want King Henry, close to 20%. And I've been told that why wouldn't I want King Henry? He's one of the best running backs in football. Well, I wouldn't want Dark Henry because he's put close to 2,200 carries on his body. A lot of carries in the last 5 years. A lot of yards, a lot of hard running, a lot of touchdowns, a lot of yards, but a lot of hard running. He's going to wear down at some point. So maybe you get him cheap, but whatever. But I think the biggest question is, what is Kellen Moore's offense going to look like? And what is Jalen Hurts capable of? Because if you get a running back like Derrick Henry, in my opinion, you can't run all these shotgun formations we've been running for the last couple of years under Nick Sirianni, under Brian Johnson, under Shane Steichen. If you get Derrick Henry, you've got to put Jalen Hurts under center 80% of the time, 90% of the time. Can Jalen Hurts effectively run an offense from under center? And that I don't know. So if Kellen Moore is going to come in here and run that style of offense, sure, Derrick Henry makes sense. Or at least some sense, or a running back like Derrick Henry. But if we're just going to change or tweak what we've been doing, fresh ideas into what we've been doing, you need a running back that can more of the DeAndre Swift style, that can play from shotgun, that can play from a pistol formation. That's what you need. So these people that just instantly want Derrick Henry, I ask you why. Because it might not fit what we do stylistically. It might not fit what our quarterback is capable of doing. And if you go out there and get Derrick Henry and we run an offense like we've been running, Derrick Henry lining up in shotgun formation next to Jalen Hurts just doesn't work. King Henry. Why? I'm asking why. Because I don't see it. Davon saying, keep Swift. Now, if it takes 4 years, $26 million to keep Swift, I don't foresee Howie Roseman doing that. He could have done that with Miles Sanders. He didn't. That's fine. He gave 1 year of Miles Sanders' money to 5 running backs last year. That's how he did it. $6+ million spent on a combined Swift, Gainwell, Penny, Scott. Trey Sermon was paid for a little while there. We did sign a running back yesterday. Tyroin Davis Price, LSU product, bruiser, futures contract, biggest futures contract ever. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I'm hoping we sign Swift. Derrick Henry, yes, with Swift. Draft the running back, keep Boston, and get rid of the rest. So you want to get rid of Kenneth Gainwell. Uh-oh. Hope Gainwell's not listening. Kenny Gainwell is the only one still here. You're not bringing in Swift and Henry. Let me just say that right from the get-go. You're probably going to bring back Boston Scott. You're either going to keep Swift or find another option like Swift. And you're going to have Kenny Gainwell. That's going to be your running back room with this future signee, Tyrone Davis Price or whatever his name is from San Francisco, as your 5th guy in camp. It's going to battle for a spot that I'm going to drool all over during camp. I think he's going to get cut, and I'll be like, probably the right thing. But would DeAndre Swift take a slight discount to stay for his hometown team? Would he? That is a big question. Liam Jenkins eats fish and chips. So do I. Who doesn't? Of course I eat fish and chips. Everybody does. Is Hurts top 17? Stop. We're not talking quarterbacks today. A big, powerful running back like Derrick Henry means Eagles don't have to risk getting Hurts injured on the tush push. Completely agree with you on that, mister. It eliminates the need for the tush push on a regular basis. I get that. It protects whoever your center is. It protects Jalen Hurts. But the question is, can Jalen Hurts? Has Jalen Hurts? I'm trying to think back to his time at Oklahoma and Alabama. Was he ever under center excessively? Because if you're going to run a running back like Derrick Henry, you got to be under center. That's just where it is. You're going to have to get a fullback in here. That's just the way it is. I don't foresee that making sense. And if they bring in Derrick Henry and try to line him up opposite Hurts and shotgun on a regular basis, like it just doesn't, it's going to be DeMarco Murray 2.0 in the fact of success rate. Derrick Henry's a better running back than Murray. But I also worry about Murray hitting a wall at some point. I mean, I got Derrick Henry stats up here. We're going backwards. From this year, he had 280 carries. Last year, 349. 2021, he only played in 8 games and still had 219 carries. The year before that, 2020, he had 378, 303 carries the year before that. That doesn't count the fact that he's had 80, 100 catches in the last 3 years, 130 in the last 4 years, 160 catches out of the backfield. I didn't even know he had, not catches, targets. That's targets, not catches. Targets out of the backfield. He's been involved in a lot of offense. He has been the offense of Tennessee for a long time. I worry about that. Kellen Moore can formulate an offense with both. So, Michael, new member of the Core 12 today. You'll hear us talk about the Core 12. That's the core that listens every single day. It's more than 12 people, but it is what it is. We call them the Core 12. You're on board with Kellen Moore. I'm optimistic, but I'm not ready to anoint Kellen Moore as the perfect answer. We will see. You messaged me on AIM. What the hell is AIM? People don't even have AIM. AIM doesn't even exist anymore. Kellen Moore stinks, maybe. Gainwell stinks. You're just in a hateful mood this morning. Hateful mood from TMC. It's complicated. I believe Kellen wants to have Jalen under center with a big and small running back. I believe Swift isn't that good at blocking, so that's a factor. There's a lot of interesting comments in one comment from Dave here. Kellen wants to have him, but will he? Because Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts can't just say yes, sir, to Kellen on whatever he wants to do. And Kellen can't just force Jalen to do what he wants if it doesn't complement Jalen's skill set. The two of them got to be on the same page. Kellen's got to say, Jalen, I want to do these things. What do you think? Jalen says, well, this I like, that I don't feel comfortable with. So then Kellen's got to be like, all right, let me tweak. The two of them got to be talking all offseason. And Swift isn't the best blocker. That's why you saw Kenny Gainwell out there in blocking situations last year. For sure. I don't know which way you go. Personally, I would love, my top option would be finding a way to convince DeAndre Swift to take a cheap, hypothetical $3 or $15 million deal. Give or take $1 million. Loads of extra incentives. Play healthy this many games or this many yards. Bonuses, whatever. That is what I would do. A fourth-year option if you hit certain levels of production. That's what I would hope for and keep DeAndre Swift because I like his style of running. Breath of fresh air over what we were used to the last couple of years with Miles Sanders. And in a different offensive system that utilizes the running backs more out of the backfield, you might actually see him catch a few balls too. But I don't know. If I'm DeAndre Swift, I'm not giving anybody a hometown discount. I don't believe in the hometown discount philosophy. Players are always, pressured into giving their home teams a discount. I don't believe in that. I say you get your bag when you can get it and as quickly as you can get it. That way, God forbid somebody gets hurt and their career ends, you're good to go. Where am I at here? Didn't Howie pay Jalen strictly for the tush push? Yeah, that's all. I mean, I still want to see a drive straight of tush pushes. Get the ball in the 25 on a touch pack and just run tush push after tush push. They will score a touchdown straight running the tush push, however many plays it takes to get right down the field. They could legitly score on that. Zeke did hit a wall very fast, Ezekiel Elliott. That is right. But again, Kellen Moore a few years ago had Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard in the backfield. And that's somebody said that before. You need two types of running backs in Kellen Moore's system. They haven't added anybody. These future ads don't mean nothing. I saw the many looks Kellen does with his offense and the many routes he has for his wide receivers and tight ends, which means our third downs will have more options for Jalen if they take away his legs. Yeah, but that also gets to the Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts need to be working together intensely this offseason because Jalen Hurts has fallen into a bad habit of not going through his reads. If read one's not there, take off and play street ball. Maybe scramble, maybe throw a deep ball. Kellen Moore needs to retrain Jalen Hurts to drop back, read the field, go through his progressions, and then take off if necessary. It also goes to show that we need a third wide receiver on this team. It also goes to show that we need a second tight end on this team. You need everything. We spent a lot of time yesterday with Chris Franklin talking about the defense on this show. And again, shout out to Chris Franklin, NJ.com. Thank you for coming on the show yesterday. I always appreciate your time and your insight. But we spent all day yesterday with him, his time talking about that defense. The offense does need work. It's not the priority that defense is, but there are question marks all over the Eagles' offense too. I heard a report that Kellen Moore called Devontae Smith, but didn't hear. So I heard that too. I actually wrote that down yesterday, I think, in yesterday's note. They never addressed it. Yeah, I wrote it down somewhere there. I'm pretty positive that Kellen Moore, I wouldn't bet my life savings on it, but I would bet Eric's $500 super chat that never comes, that he has called pretty much every member of the Eagles offense. At least the wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, anybody that's under contract. I would be almost positive in saying that. And Devontae Smith said glowing things about him. So I don't want to hear you. I get what you're saying, and maybe you're trying to stir up some drama there, but I have a feeling that everybody has at least been called. Whether they've returned his calls, I don't know. I think it helps that Kellen was a real quarterback and worked with some talented players in college and pros. You try to keep Swift. This was the first time he was healthy all season, so he's going to ask for money. Exactly. There's no discounts for DeAndre Swift. I want him to take a discount, but there ain't no discount because he does have an injury history. And you never know. This could be his last chance to get a big contract, a big payday. And he's going to want to do that. Maybe Austin Eckler or J.K. Robbins is some options to look into. Austin Eckler, I don't know. Is he going to want big money or a one-year prove-it deal? I don't know. Isn't J.K. Dobbins off injured too? But again, behind our offensive line, you do tend to stay healthier because of how easy it is to run. If Kelce is gone, pretty sure the brotherly shove high success rate is gone too. Maybe. Yes, to a better wide receiver 3 and a backup tight end because I love Dallas, but he can't stay healthy. Can't up the club from the top. If I just pulled that I love Dallas part out, Dave, I could call you a Cowboys fan and then crush you for that or something like that. But in the whole sentence, I get what you're talking about, Dallas Goedert. I was talking about needing a backup tight end all last offseason on this show. I talked about it. I argued with TMC about it. He's like Dan Arnold. I'm like, Dan Arnold's not a backup tight end. Jack Stoll's a blocking tight end. He should be our third tight end. Calcaterra, that experiment might be over. Everybody was pining for Tyree Jackson. Where is he? How many catches he have? Aqua Bowman? Huh? Hello, is this mic on? I mean, seriously. Yeah, Franklin never saw The Godfather. He's dead to me. Yeah, that's still, like, I put that out on Twitter yesterday, and nobody laughed at it. Didn't get the reaction quite like I thought it did. Pathetic, though. I like Swift, but I fear his injuries will catch up to him. That is the risk. So I want him to take a hometown discount. I also don't think he will because of this. And I also think the Eagles wouldn't go 4 years because of this. So I think the odds, while my poll, 415 votes, almost 60% voted keep DeAndre Swift for 4 years, I don't think it happens. Will I want it? I don't think. Howie has got to change his philosophies on linebacker. He's got to change his philosophies on cornerback, on safety, on a lot of things this offseason. Telling him to change his philosophies on running back too. Now you're asking a lot of Howie. Howie has had success patchworking the running back situation together for a long, long time. We had a top 10 rushing offense how many years in a row now? 3 of the last 6 years, a top 10 rushing offense because of our offensive line. We still got a pretty darn good offensive line. Yes, we have the question mark with Jason Kelce. But you could patchwork it together again behind this offensive line that's tweaked without Kelce, or maybe Kelce comes back. You're not going to spend, just think about it this way. Miles Sanders got 4 years, 26. You got to think DeAndre Swift's first goal is to beat that number in free agency. I could see a team that's a running back away or that has a pretty solid offense and offering DeAndre Swift 4 years, $30 million, $18 million guaranteed. I could see that. 4 years, $30 million. That's just over $7 million a year. Miles Sanders got 6.4. DeAndre Swift's younger. I could see it. Dobbins is always injured. He is, isn't he? I'm pretty sure. What are we betting on? I'm sorry, I'm missing. I'm not sure what we're betting on here. Iowa has them grown on trees. Go look at their tight ends. Yeah, look, tight end's an issue. Tight end's not the issue on the table today, but tight end is an issue. It just is. You can't go into next season with Dallas Goedert again with Jack Stoll and Grant Calcaterra. That's it. Running backs are cheaper than Natalie Merchant CDs. You can get put on the back on the discount rack like another can of beans. If you don't get hot. Yeah, I'm trying to. I just said the Billy Joel line backwards, so it kind of screwed it all up there. But yeah, do people still buy CDs? I saw somebody say something about the Blu-rays and DVDs. Somebody isn't making them anymore. They're letting another company produce them. Like, do CDs and DVDs still get made? I don't even have a DVD player in my house. I never even bought a Blu-ray. CDs, I don't even know. Like, I don't even think I have a CD. I have a 2021 Jeep Wrangler. I don't even think there's a CD player in it. I don't. I got my digital screen. I got my XM in there. I don't think CDs even exist. Phil thought analysis, this was funny. I don't know again what you're saying. Betting on I'm a cow. Oh, you want to bet on being a cow? Yeah, let's bet that. Yeah. Like, I would never insult anybody. I'm not insulting you. You're not a Cowboys fan. I know. You wouldn't come on here and talk Eagles every day with me if you're a Cowboys fan. Although Lucio comes on from time to time. And Lucio's a fair, upstanding Cowboys fan. Likes to have a conversation. People need to realize it's not coming to find an Isaiah Pacheco in round 3. It's not easy to find a Pacheco. Yeah, you're not going to find, not every running back in round 7 is going to be successful like him. But also, if you have a solid offensive line, yeah, I knew you meant easy there, Dave. Behind a real offensive line, 7th round running back, 6th round running backs can be successful and super cheap. What do we got? $27 million in cap space this offseason right now. The extensions, the cuts, whatever we do, 40, 50, a slight chance of $60 million in cap space. But you need linebacker, you need safety, you need cornerback, wide receiver 3, tight end 2, maybe a center or a right guard. You need a lot of things on this team to keep this window open. And the window is open. The NFC, it's winnable. Things are falling apart in San Francisco. Detroit, we just don't know. Dallas is Dallas. Maybe Dave, since he's such a big Dallas fan, can give us some insight? The window's still open to get to the Super Bowl. We could be right back in the Super Bowl next year. Is that 60 million, 40 million? Let's just say we have 45 million in cap space. We're just going to use that number. 45 million. Are we really going to commit in 2024 $8 million of it to a running back, $7 million of it to a running back? Just one? When realistically, not only do you need to sign a running back, Swift or Henry or Saquon or somebody else, but you also got to sign a third and a fourth running back, Boston Scott, anybody else. We legitly have one running back on the roster right now. Well, now two because of Tyrone Davis Price. But technically, we have two. The guy has like 6 carries in the NFL in his career. Analyze this. That's actually so you're talking about that. That is what Phil thought. Analyze. So you should have put Phil thought. Analyze this in quotes. What was funny? Analyze this and analyze that was a great flicks. Fantastic. De Niro, it's kind of like I think actually Analyze This came out before The Sopranos. Maybe The Sopranos was based off of Analyze This. High quality comedy gangster movies with what's his name as the psychiatrist. What was his name? Why can't I think of it? Off the top of my head. Got to taking a bat in spring training with the Yankees. Big New York fan. I wonder if Vic thinks he can work with some of our defensive players. Love to be a fly on the wall and see what his plan is, including it would be great to just be a fly on the wall. Just stick a little bug on the wall. Do you think they sweep the NovaCare complex for bugs? To see if anybody, Belichick's not coaching this year, so I don't think they have to worry about cheaters or anything like that. TMC too deep for Philip. Now that he explained Analyze This, the movie, I know what he's getting at. And Analyze This is a great, funny movie. Fair, upstanding Cowboys fan. You must have. Lucio has come on this show in the comments a few times. Billy Crystal. I see it on the side screen here. Thank you, Marshawn. We'll get to your comment in a minute. But Billy Crystal, Robert De Niro, Lisa Kudrow was in it. Quality comedy gangster flick. Analyze This. But Lucio, he's one of the few Cowboys fans that have come in the comments and actually discussed, not fought with us in the show. Lisa Loeb is on Cameo. Okay. Right now, we need to focus on running back, linebacker, and a solid third wide receiver. Wow, Michael's putting running back in the importance meter level of linebacker. I think that's interesting, Michael. I don't put it there. I don't put it as high. I put linebacker, cornerback, safety. I put center or right guard. I put defensive end, defensive tackle maybe, all ahead of running back in importance because I just think under this offensive line and what this team has done over the last 3 to 5 years, hell, we had a patchwork together running back situation in 2017 and we won a Super Bowl. So I don't think we need to spend big or bold even at running back. We just need to get guys that can stay healthy and can run behind our offensive line. Oh, I didn't say brilliant. Fantastic. Billy Crystal. That's right. Great actor. Didn't he, like I said, didn't he play? Didn't he suit up for the Yankees in a spring trading game? It was always his dream. And celebrities can do whatever the hell they want. So if I called the Phillies and said, yo, I want to suit up for a spring trading game, they'd laugh. They won't even take my phone call. But if Chris Cartoon said it, they'd probably let him do it. William Crystals. We still have Kenny G, fam. We are good at running back. I was waiting for K1 to make a Kenny G comment. I will say this. I'm not a huge Kenny Gainwell fan. In a lead running back role. But in this situation, if you find next year's DeAndre Swift, somebody in the same situation that DeAndre Swift was in, as a dual threat running back, the two, Kenny Gainwell and somebody like DeAndre Swift, I'm perfectly fine with that. Under Kellen Moore's system, someone like Kenny Gainwell or DeAndre Swift or both could flourish catching the ball out of the backfield. You might actually see a running back screen occasionally instead of 40 tight end and wide receiver bubble screens that fail. You might get a Kenny Gainwell and a DeAndre Swift in the backfield at the same time, throwing defenses off, because that's what we need to do. What gives us a better chance of winning the Super Bowl? Top 5 wide receiver or a top 5 defense? I got to say a top 5 defense, mister. A top 5 wide receiver is just one player. One wide receiver cannot be the difference maker in winning a Super Bowl or losing. I mean, the Chiefs, back-to-back Super Bowls without an elite wide receiver. We didn't have an elite wide receiver when we won in 2017. Had a really good one, but you could say a top 5 wide receiver or a top 5 linebacker or a top 5 running back or a top 5 safety, but you're comparing the whole defensive unit to one wide receiver. I don't think you could say a top 5 wide receiver is more important than an entire top 5 defense. Daunting task for any defense to stop the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Yeah. I mean, you got to think. All right, Mahomes is a different case. I know. We are talking about Patrick Mahomes and not anybody else. I get that. I get that. But hold on. Let me do this and then let me look. Super Bowl. Annual Super Bowl. Let me go to their Wikipedia page. I'm sure it'll give me a list of the Super Bowl champions each year. Page down. I'm guessing that didn't do it. That didn't do it either. All right, I gotta find Super Bowl winners. There we go. All right, Super Bowl winners. List of them. Let's go back in time here. Chiefs last 2 years, no elite wide receiver. Rams did have Cooper Kupp. That was an elite. Well, nope. Yeah, Cooper Kupp. So that was elite. The Bucks, I mean, decent wide, not top 5, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, but close. The Chiefs, maybe back in, did they still have Tyreek Hill then? So yes, they did. The Patriots 13-3 win did not. The Eagles did not. The Patriots never did. The Broncos didn't in 2016. So you could definitely make a case you do not need an elite wide receiver to win a Super Bowl. So statistically, Kellen does a great job dying up plays to defend the pass rush. However, Jalen has to think and move much quicker on the fly. And that's why I've been saying it all show. It's on Jalen Hurts and Kellen Moore to lock in a lab. Lock it up. We had a number 2 D in 2022 and still lost in the Super Bowl. At least it got us to the Super Bowl. Guys, and it's funny. You put up the number 2. I don't know if it was number 2 or number 3. I'm not going to fact check you today. But man, I've said it before that losing Jonathan Gannon was going to be a big. That Jonathan Gannon gets crapped on, and rightfully so in this city, because his personality was what it was. But man, he did have big picture a quality defense and fired our. Yeah, a lot of similarities between firing our defense coordinator and firing of Adrian Griffin in Milwaukee. Pretty damn similar, honestly. I take bats to printers. A little office space thing there. Hope KC doesn't get their hands on Mike Evans or Jalen Waddle. Mike Evans is a free agent. Is Jalen Waddle a free agent? I don't know. I didn't know he was on the board. But Mike Evans is. I would assume Mike Evans stays in Tampa. Mike Evans, to me, Dave, one of the most underrated wide receivers in football. I don't know how many years it is now. Something like 8 years in a row, 9 years in a row of 1,000-yard seasons. Plays almost every game every year. Has had some great quarterback play. And also had some bad quarterback play around him. But yet he's always there. And he never gets included in the conversation of top wide receivers. Mike Evans is an extremely underrated NFL wide receiver. You should draft your Dalton Kincaid. Well, on the tight end thing, I mean, let's just be honest. Let's talk backwards here. Brent Selleck was here. They drafted Zach Ertz when Brent Selleck was 27, and they eased that transition. Then Zach Ertz was here, and they drafted Dallas Goedert when Zach Ertz was 27 and eased that transition. Now Dallas Goedert's 27, so it's time for them to draft the next guy, ease that transition. Howie loves his tight ends. I would not be shocked if one of those top 97 picks gets used on the tight end. Would not shock me. Did Kansas City have the number one defense? Maybe they did. Agreed on Evans. In college, he was ridiculous. Didn't he go to college with Johnny Manziel? I want to say it was Mike Evans that made Johnny Manziel famous. I want to say it. Yeah, Evans to the Bills would make TMC ecstatic. Imagine Mike Evans opposite of Stephon Diggs. There's a wide receiver 1-2 punch right there. Two underappreciated wide receivers. For sure. And Josh Allen would actually have two real weapons instead of paying Gabe Davis big money because he had a big playoff game a few years ago, not realizing that he's just another Quez Watkins. He did, yeah. So, yeah, Johnny Manziel only got drafted because he had Mike Evans. And I still remember one play, it was a Texan A&M, that Johnny Manziel was just running around street ball style, and he just off his back foot threw a ball high in the air, and it went for like a 50-yard catch to Mike Evans. Like, all he has to do is throw it up, and Mike Evans was going to out-jump everybody in college football. I mean, Manziel got all the credit because he was doing all this dipping and diving and running behind the offensive line, and he just flung the ball up there. Mike Evans made the actual play. But Manziel got a first-round contract because of Mike Evans. And now where's Johnny Football? Actually, where is Johnny Football? I never watched that documentary a year or two ago on him and his life. Never got around to it. But it is what it is. So we're going to do a soft reset, a little early, premature reset here. Justin Crosby will join us shortly to talk Sixers as we're coming out of the All-Star break. You're watching Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Make sure you hit the like, the share, the subscribe, the retweet button, wherever you're watching. Drop your comments in the comment section as we continue on this show, this conversation. The NBA is coming out of the All-Star break here really soon. So we're going to get into that. I heard Johnny Manziel used to enjoy, I don't know, I wouldn't be shocked. Johnny Manziel, I mean, from what I've heard, he's battled some things now later in his life. He's tried to make comebacks. He's just, yeah. Love the Flyers talking with Mosca. Need more of that. Yeah, I would love to, but see K1 now, and I'll bring that. I knew at some point this week the Flyers are going to come up again. And I'll just say it again as we're waiting for Justin to join us. It's hard for me to reignite my Flyers love right now because I know that, they're in the playoffs. They're the third seed in the Eastern Conference? I think the third seed, the fourth seed, whatever they are. They're in the playoffs. It would take an epic collapse for them to miss the playoffs. But yet they're still talking about being sellers at the deadline. That some of their I can't get behind a team that is good, but doesn't want to stay good this year. And I know there's something about overachieving and stuff like that, but third seed, Michael's saying they're the third seed. I knew they were third. They've had some losses, and I didn't know if they fell from that yet. It's hard for me to get emotionally invested when I already watch so much sports on TV. And right now, I guess might be easier. No football, no baseball yet. Saturday's the first televised Phillies spring training game. It's very hard for me to get behind the Flyers right now. It's a completely different scenario than the Sixers and the process and me watching process bad basketball because I knew they were bad and I knew they were not making an unexpected run. Flyers are making this run and I want to get behind them. But then in 2 weeks, they may trade away half their team because it's not part of the big picture plan. And that's what's frustrating to me. And that's why I struggle to get behind them in this situation. The Flyers are overachieving the season. The Sixers are going nowhere without being, and we all know that. They just got to get there and hope Joel Embiid comes back and is 85% of what he could be. 85% of what Joel Embiid was this year is still better than 90% of the NBA. Don't forget that. Maybe 95% of the NBA. Maybe 95% of his career. At 85% this year, he's better than. And that's the thing, teams have overachieved. I think the Eagles overachieved in 2022. And it pushed up their timeline. But the Eagles went all in. The Eagles overachieved in 2022, so they went all in. And it didn't work out this year. They're going to go all in again this offseason. The Flyers are overachieving. Instead of going all in, to capitalize on this moment. Like, wait. That wasn't the plan. So we're going to stick to the plan. If we make it, great. If we don't, no worries. That I love the Flyers' honesty. Danny Briere, Keith Jones, John Tortorella. Love the honesty. I really do. But their honesty also makes it very hard to buy in. We've been getting a lot of honesty. I mean, Dave Dombrowski and John Middleton have spoken the last couple of days from spring training. They've said it. They're done. Like, we want the Phillies to make more additions. Nah, we're done. I think this is it. We got one roster spot up for battle, and that's it. See, here we go. Big Al, are you in the comments still? See, I said Lucio's a great Cowboys fan. And then we got a D Boys for a life saying the Eagles will miss the playoffs. Right. I'm assuming D Boys is a Cowboys fan. And there's no way the Eagles are missing the playoffs in 2024. That would be utterly shocking. There's a better chance that Dak Prescott makes the Super Bowl than the Eagles missing the playoffs. And Dak Prescott's never going to play in a Super Bowl, at least not with the Cowboys. So there's that. I agree. Yeah. Always start in trouble. Exactly. I'm always invested with the Flyers, but I'm sure they will make the moves that Fletcher should have made. I believe we can get better after the deadline. But see, they're not saying that, Michael. They're not saying that. They're saying that they're not going to buy moves. That they're sticking to the plan that they had laid out to start the season. That's not what we want. Cowboys and Eagles hate. The Eagles hate in the comments. It's just not going to be tolerated. There will be no besmirching our Philadelphia sports teams unless your name's Chris Cartoon, and then even then, I'm just going to laugh at you. Because again, I got breaking news. I got insider sources that tell me something big is about to happen. I'm just not going to tell you what happened. But if anything big happens today in any of the Philadelphia sports teams, you heard it here first that there was going to be big breaking news. I just can't tell you what that big breaking news is. But whatever that big breaking news is that comes out today, I told you today first here on Trending at AM that it was happening. It sounds even dumber the third time that I say it than the first two times that I say it. What? Stop. Anybody that spent that money, ridiculous. Don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. Actions speak louder than words. So you know. The best hockey players in the NHL came from Russia. What is going to... Oh, man. Dude, I don't want to get political, mister. I really don't. Yeah. I don't know. They're the Cowboys fan or the Putin comments in the comments section. I don't want to get political. But, man, I came home yesterday, sat down, turned the news on. I was waiting for the weather. Then I got sidetracked on my phone, and I guess the national news came on. And they started talking about Putin and Russia. And I guess there's some American/Russian ballerina that's been in prison. And nobody knew about it, and she's been in prison since January. I mean, Brittany Griner, they fought, tooth and nail to get her, but we got another athlete that's over there. Ah, man, I don't want to get into the Putin thing, but it's not going to get better before it gets worse. Phil had Matsuyama winning the Genesis. No, I did not. I had him winning like 3 other events this year, and he didn't win any of them. I didn't do fairway to heaven K1, but for the golfers, the Mexico Open, Vidante at Vallarta, Puerto Vallarta is where the course is today. Taylor Pendrith, 25-1 is my favorite play to win. If you want to go make a bet, go bet Taylor Pendrith, 25-1 to win the Mexico Open this week. Number 1 in my model, 2 top 10s at this event, or this year. Great putter, great tee to green, one of the top drivers on tour. Best at making birdies or betters. If you want a little bit of a long shot, I don't even know how to say toasty. 9th in driving distance this week, 15th in birdie or better. Finished 10th in this event last year. He's a Puerto Rico, so he's got some Mexican, culture in his history too. There's a guy, Toasty, at 55-1. If you want to make a a bet there, fairway to heaven. Just so you know. Phil stole fairway to Philly. No, I didn't steal nothing. All right, so joining me now on the I Have No Sponsor hotline, we got my main man, Justin Crosby. Wednesday with Justin's here, talking Sixers basketball. Good morning, Justin. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning.
Are you well rested from All-Star Weekend? A little break from daily coverage of the Sixers?
Yes, I am. It's been quite quiet and quite lovely.
Right? But it's going to get really loud here really quickly. And then, you know what? First and foremost, before we talk Sixers, can I ask you a question? I don't know if you know anything about PR or marketing or anything like that, but whoever's in charge of Doc Rivers' PR team, can someone tell him to stop talking on a live microphone?
Right, for sure. He's creating a lot of havoc and needs to stay away from the mic going forward. But we're gonna get more dot quotables before the end of the year. Trust me.
No, absolutely. So let's talk Sixers. We're coming out of the break here tomorrow night against Cleveland. And, first and foremost, what are you hearing about their injuries? Melton, Batum, I think, are the two most important. Robert Covington, he hasn't played all year, but I really think at some point he could help this team if he could get healthy. What are you hearing and what are you feeling about these injuries when these three key pieces will be back in the rotation?
As far as Robert Covington, I'm hearing it's getting better, but not sure when he'll actually play. Hopefully in the next couple weeks. I
Mhm.
would say as far as Melton and Batum, I'm pretty sure we'll see them back by Sunday. Specifically, Melton, I think he'll be back by Sunday. We'll see. The injury report hasn't come out yet for tomorrow. For tomorrow, so something may come out today or this evening. You know, they have the daily injury report, especially with the game starting next week. Excuse me, tomorrow. So we'll see. But I'm assuming we'll see Batum tomorrow, and maybe Melton by the weekend.
Okay, gotcha. Because I think we're having trouble judging what this team is, not just because of the Joel Embiid injury, but we haven't even since Joel went down, we haven't had back to back nights with the same rotation. You got Maxey missing games at times, Harris in and out of the lineup being sick and hurt. We got all these guys hurt and sick, and we can't even get into a comfortable routine here. And we're coming out of the break, and yes, it's the Knicks and then the Cavs. My bad, Mitchie Poo. But we got the Knicks, we got the Cavs, we got the Bucks. We're coming out of the break.
Celtics.
The Celtics. We got a tough first 4 or 5 games right out of the break. They need their full complement of players to even compete in the next 4 or 5 games, or we might be staring at a little bit of further drop in the standings there.
Yeah, I think the most important issue is that after they play Sunday, they will have played 3 games in 4 days,
Mm-hmm.
which is a lot.
It is.
It's a lot. 4 games in 6 days after the meeting against the Celtics. If they could somehow go 2-2 in those games, I think that they'll take that as a win. Even getting one dub, I think they'll take as a win as they try to get guys back and incorporate Kyle Lowry, who I'm assuming will play on Thursday as well. So, but I'm hoping. I think they're hoping for 2-2 to stay afloat, and I think that's the model that you'll see going forward. Like, hey, every 4 games we need to win 2 to try to
Yeah.
stay afloat for Embiid to come back.
So you bring up Kyle Lowry. Last week when you had you on, we didn't really have enough time to talk. It was just happening, the Kyle Lowry news and stuff like that. We didn't really talk much about it. So where, all right. So where would you want Kyle Lowry in the rotation? But where do you think Kyle Lowry will be in the situation if he plays tomorrow night? Will Kyle Lowry be starting tomorrow night? Because
N-
I kind of feel like as long as Melton's still out, he might actually be a starter, on this team.
Yeah, I think they'll still have Laurie come off the bench. I think he will play significant minutes, whether it's with Maxey, without Maxey. So you never know. But I do think that he'll play significant minutes. He'll back up Maxey. He'll be on the court when Maxey's not on the court, and he'll probably share some time. I do think that he came here for a reason, not only because it's his hometown team, but probably because he was talked about with the team, the type of role he would have here. Because to be quite honest, Laurie could have went to other contenders as well. So,
Is
yeah.
Kyle Lowry's only coming here because he has a strong feeling that
Hmm.
Joel Embiid will be back by the playoffs, right?
Yep, that's what I.
He's not coming here to save us because Embiid's not coming back. He's coming here because Embiid's going to come back, and that gives us a chance at winning or at least making a deep run in the playoffs.
For sure.
Okay. Can you foresee a scenario? Because I say Kyle Lowry starting, but then you kind of forget about Buddy Hield, and Buddy Hield's been fantastic, since he's gotten here. Can you see a lineup, a small ball lineup, at least now with all the injuries, where you have Maxey, Lowry, and Hield all on the court at the same time?
Sure. Yeah, I can see that for sure. I mean,
Can that work defensively though? Because I've thought about that and felt like it was possible, but then I'm like, well, you're asking Buddy Hield to guard some much bigger threes if you're doing it that way.
yeah, and I think in those instances they'll put Lowry on threes. I think he's a bigger guy, more strength. So they'll put Lowry on maybe some threes if they need to. But yeah, I mean, Nurse has been very creative with his lineups, and I wouldn't be surprised at some point if you see Lowry, Maxey, Hield, Tobias, maybe Batum or Uber or something like that, where all right, he just wants to pack the score and punch, and let's see if we can gang rebound and go from there.
They also brought in a guy. I'm trying to remember how to pronounce his name. I wrote it down somewhere. I can't find it in my notes.
Darius Gazley. Yep.
Gazley, whatever. Somebody's asking if D'Anthony Melton is actually maybe done for the season with all the additions that they've brought in. Gazley, what do you know about Gazley? The type of player. Obviously, he's a G League guy, puts up big numbers in the G League, but he's been in the G League for 5 years now. So, these 10-day contracts are made to fill out roster spots when people aren't healthy and aren't coming back. So, is Gazley a move because they think maybe Melton, Rocco, Batum might not be coming back anytime soon, and they're just trying to find a random spark from someone?
One, I think the 10-day contract is strategic because the deadline for buyout is March 1st. So that gives you those 10 days to see if anybody else is bought out. If they are, you can make a move. So I think that's the purpose of that. Secondly, Baisley, he's an interesting prospect. He came out of high school. He was one of those first kids to skip school and get a sneaker deal with New Balances, and he did an internship, and they paid him $1 million or something like that. And he had some interesting moments in OKC when he had basically a guaranteed roster spot because he was a first round pick. It didn't necessarily work out because his shooting, right? You can't be on the floor in OKC with Russ without some shooting. So I think that was something that kind of hindered him from there. But I'm gonna be interested. He'll play small ball 5 in the next couple of days. If B-ball Paul is not the answer or Mo Bamba is not the answer, because we've seen that happen on multiple nights. They'll probably go to him, give him some burn, see what he can do, and go from there.
Under Nick Nurse, obviously once everybody's healthy, he's going to have his main guys, and that's it that he plays. But we have seen with KJ Martin getting minutes, Ricky Council, getting minutes and then staying in the rotation. Nick Nurse will give him, if there's an opportunity, a chance to thrive. Unlike under someone like Doc Rivers, who, can't even keep Tyrese Maxey on the court in an All-Star game. Sorry, I got to get another Doc Rivers dig in before you're done for the day.
Oh, you'll have enough of them Sunday before and after the game. I mean, I'm sure Doc will respond to however the fans respond to him on Sunday, as well as whether it's a win or a loss or whatever the case may be. I'm sure we'll hear a lot more from Doc coming up on Sunday. So I say,
will the Sixers do one of when a player leaves town and then comes back for the first time, and been here for a while, they do one of those tribute thank you videos. Are we going to get a Sixers tribute thank you video to Doc Rivers on Sunday?
You probably will, to be honest with you.
I'll get booed off the screen.
Yeah, probably will. I mean, yeah, it depends on the vibe. I mean, I feel like their social media and marketing has a pretty good handle on stuff like that. So it might not even be something where he might get a video. It might be during one of the timeouts when they know half the stadium is at the concession stands, or they might do a welcome back Doc Rivers quick little snippet and go from there. But he'll definitely
fire up the crowd even, actually. You play the welcome back Doc thank you, and then the crowd starts booing it. It might actually be some reverse psychology to fire up the crowd a little bit more.
He will definitely get booed in the introductions.
Absolutely. But anyway, back to the players. And so you got Gazley. Obviously Ricky Council, has had a good run lately. You got KJ Martin, obviously K1's
Yep.
asking KJ Martin. Out of those guys, as people get healthy, if Melton comes back, because like Mr. asking, is he done for the season? With this back injury, I just don't know. They
Right.
might try to bring him back, but he might come back and then re-injure it really quickly. Back injuries always scare me in all sports. Like
Yep.
I try to stay away from those things. But if all these guys come back, which one of these young guys, because Ricky Council's only really had 3 or 4 games of real good success here. Which guy is going to be the guy that stays a part of the rotation out of these young or fresh faces that we're seeing?
I mean, honestly, if everybody comes back healthy, I think I don't know specifically if either of them will be in a rotation.
Okay.
Depending on the matchups, depending on what's going on. I mean, the only thing I can really see is, if everybody comes back, Ricky Council might be that, or they might be, especially if Robert Covington doesn't come back, I can see both of those guys fighting for backup 4 minutes for sure. But if Cove comes back, the only thing I can see is maybe different matchup, need some hustle, or get some young leagues in it. Ricky Council's going to hustle. And then KJ Martin might be a small ball backup 5, which he showed he can have some rebounding effects and, run the floor. The one thing I want to say about this team, without Embiid, when they're healthy going forward, they should be running nonstop.
Absolutely.
They should be running. They should be running nonstop. They should be running and shooting threes. That's literally what I want to see for this team from everybody. So hopefully they do that, but we'll see, man. Cove is an X factor because not to say he's going to win them games, but when Cove was playing, he was very active with deflections and steals and guarding those wings. And from his time when he wasn't a driver at all, to when he got back here, he was still shooting, wasn't necessarily at the high percentage, but Cove was attacking the basket like really, really well. And I just felt like he brought a different energy and effort. If Cove can come back and play some minutes and play some of those, have some defense off the bench and, unconscious as I'm a shooter, like that's going to be a really big help. But to me, like this long with the knee issue without surgery, man, it just sounds like, I don't know, bone on bone, bone bruise. And I feel bad for Cove.
Yeah, I mean, clutch 3. Look, Rocco is a guy that, from the process, I love to see him have success and all, but I don't know. I mean, Robert Covington and DeAnthony Melton, I mean, in my opinion, there's a scenario where they don't see much, if any, minutes because of their injuries the rest of the year. But it brings, with the Ricky Council and the KJ Martin and the minutes at the backup 4, backup 5, we kind of saw it a few times before the All-Star break. Tobias Harris minutes starting to dwindle here or there, and couple points in the fourth quarter where he wasn't on the floor, kind of similar to what Golden State was doing with Klay Thompson for a little bit there. Is there a scenario where Tobias Harris minutes, even if he's healthy, physically and stomach-wise, isn't on the floor for 35, 40 minutes a game down the stretch here?
Honestly, it depends on the matchup. I think personally, when you have Maxey, Tobias is clearly for us, right? Like, or for them, for us as a team, like if you're following the team, this should be Tobias's time to submit that he's the second option. But Buddy has come in and done that already. They're going to give Tobias every opportunity to showcase that. So I don't think you'll see. I think you'll see him play more minutes. The only time if he's playing one of those games where he's sick or still hurting or something, yeah, you'll see less minutes from him. But I think they'll give him every opportunity to prove that even if he doesn't want to be here, right? Because there's rumors that Tobias is just flat out gone, right? Probably Detroit, something like that. But if he wants to stay, all right, why should we keep you, right? And we'll see. I mean, I think the Sixers would offer Tobias money to come back, but it would be nowhere where he would want to be, dollar-wise.
And there will be a team that will give him.
Oh, for sure.
Like the Sixers would not offer him more than a 3-year, $55, $60 million deal. You know what I mean? there will be a team that will offer him a 4-year, $100 million deal still at this point,
For
at
sure.
least, if not more. And, good for him. Go get it, right?
For sure. Like everybody is like, to me, I talk about, in this business, and when you see these insiders talking, like when there's smoke, there's fire. For
Mhm,
the last year, there's been Detroit,
mhm,
Indiana, Dallas,
mhm,
smoke about Tobias. I don't think that's for nothing. I think we all know a lot of backdoor channeling happens in this league.
mhm.
And I think that the reason that the Sixers deal fell through with Detroit for Bogdanovich and Burks is because they wanted Tobias.
Mhm.
And the Sixers didn't feel right giving him up unless they got assets back, meaning first round draft picks.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, Detroit probably said, "Listen, we can get him in free agency, so whatever." So I think that's probably his most likely destination.
Yeah. I actually like the idea of Dallas too, because Dallas runs that slower pace. They don't have the runners like Philly does.
Yeah,
We talked about the rotation. We forgot about Campaign. Campaign has actually had a
yeah.
nice little start to his very short and small sample size. But once Kyle Lowry is now into it, if the Anthony Melton is back, is there even a spot in the rotation for Campaign at guard?
Unfortunately, no. Um, unfortunately, no. He'll be the third point guard, but like I said, like Nurse is unpredictable with his
Yeah.
lineups. Like he'll play in the past, he's played Pat Bev, and then he's like, "F it, I'm going with the young guy Springer tonight," right? So like you will see those moments. All right, they need a little bit more juice on offense, and maybe Laurie's not getting it done, or whatever the case, or Melton's not playing, whatever. Campaign could get some run, but he won't get run over Laurie or Maxey. So it just
Right.
depends. But we might even see, like I said, Nurse hasn't been. He's played 3 guard lineups. Like he's just very unpredictable when it comes to his lineups when he's trying stuff out, and he has to do that now because when you get to the playoffs, you need to know what meshes well. So we'll see a lot of weird lineups probably in the next 10 games.
Yeah. Gotcha. I agree. And you mentioned Pat Bev real quick to wrap up the show. Thoughts on Pat Bev? We talked about Doc running his mouth too much. Pat Beverly is running his mouth an awful lot now, which it's funny because Doc's running his mouth in one way. Can't Pat Beverly is sticking up for his team, even though everybody on his team is falling apart. And I get what Pat Bev's doing, pandering into his new team. But then
Yeah,
you got Dame Lillard not even picking Giannis on his starting five. Like Milwaukee is in disaster, but Pat Bev is running his mouth too now.
yeah. Like at first it was a little weird, but then I'm saying like, listen, he's definitely pandering to his team and pandering to his coach, and every spot that he's been at has always been the best spot that he's been at. So, I mean,
I've just never seen somebody come to a city like Philadelphia and become an instant fan favorite, get traded, and instantly become public enemy number one. Doc's going to get booed on Sunday, but so is Pat Beverly, like massively as well.
yeah, I don't know. It's weird. That's going to be weird. I think he's still going to get love, but as soon as he does something that Pat Bev does, like push Maxi extra or something like that, he'll get his booze.
K1 really likes your French New Wave camera angle right there.
Not
Oh man!
the
All
office
right,
center.
so best case scenario next week when you come on this show next Wednesday, we'll have this tough 4-game stretch over, right? Knicks, Cavs, Bucks, Celtics. What is your best? Is 2-2 best case scenario? And is
Best
there a
case.
scenario where we come out of this break 0-4?
I think that 2-2 is the best case scenario. I don't think they'll go 0-4. I think they'll get a win Thursday or Friday. I do think they match up well with the Cavs. Always have matched up well with the Cavs. And I think that the issue has been recently, like as you've seen Jared Allen and the rebound and Evan Mobley. But if they just have guys gang rebound like they did the other night, they're defensively on the perimeter, the Cavs aren't the best. Like Max Strus has been rumored to be a good defender. He's not. Donovan Mitchell is a solid defender, but whatever. And Darius Garland definitely can't guard anybody. So I think perimeter wise, the Sixers have the tools to beat that team. The Knicks, they're injured too, right?
Right.
So they have a chance to get 2 dubs, but we'll see. I mean, I think,
I mean, the first 3 games are at home, so
yeah,
I kind of feel like
And they're
that's
all winnable because Milwaukee doesn't play defense either, no matter the Pat Bevs on the team or not. So
and they're falling apart. There's a scenario in my mind where Doc Rivers gets fired at the end of the year already. Like it's scary. It's unlikely, but there is a scenario. That's how bad they are playing right now.
honestly,
Either that or some of those stars are going to want out of there.
Yeah, I think it's more likely that Dame or Giannis are axed out before they fire Doc this early. I think they'll let him get another year where he'll say, "I didn't even have a full training camp. I didn't get a chance to install my system."
Oh man, you sound exactly like him when you say that there. Because man. So what do you got going on? Are you going to be down at the Wells Fargo Center covering the team over these next 3 games?
Hopefully on Friday. Me and Zach will be switching up this week. So hopefully on Friday I'll be there for the Cavs game. But I know he's going to be there Sunday for the Bucks game, and he already has questions ready for Doc in the pregame to ask him why he's always blaming other people.
I hope he asks that question. He better ask that question. I want to hear that one. Guys, thank you very much. Justin Crosby joining us on the I Have No Sponsor hotline. Wednesdays. We need a sponsor just for Wednesdays with Justin. Talking Sixers here.
Yeah, we'll find one.
Yeah, we'll find one. We'll see you next week on the show. And let's hope when you're on next week, we're talking at a minimum that they went 2-2 in this stretch. Let's hope for that, at least.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks a lot, Justin. Yep. Make sure you guys follow Justin Crosby at Will Work for Sneaks. And all the great work he does on Philadelphia Sports Network's website, covering the Sixers. We don't need to ask him every single week. We've asked him this before. I don't remember his answer, but we've asked him before. Would you ask Pop that question? That would be the ultimate response from Doc Rivers to Zach Chavalella if he, had that. No, we don't need to ask him every week the same question. We don't. We'll get into more Sixers talk tomorrow because, yes, the Sixers second. I don't understand why they call it the second half. I mean, there's only like 25 games left. Really, the final quarter of the season starts on Thursday, but it is a very tough stretch for them. So we didn't really get into any Phillies talk. We'll talk a little Phillies tomorrow as well. But Phillies Friday with Kylie from Bell Smasher Pod and PhillySportsNetwork.com. We'll be doing a similar segment for 20 minutes or so with Kylie every single Friday starting this week. So we'll bring up more of the Phillies because I wanted to talk Bryce Harper a little bit because of the extension situation. But that'll be for tomorrow. That'll be for Friday. But anyway, with that, we'll wrap this show up today. Shout out to Justin. Shout out to the Sixers. Shout out to everybody in the comments today. Great day as always. He may have. So every single Wednesday, I got to ask him the same question and then keep a running tab to see if he changes it or not. I don't know about that. That's asking a lot there, K1. It is. But anyway, breaking news, okay? I have breaking news for you, all right? Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe button. If you don't, I can't tell you the breaking news. Well, I can't tell you anyway. But when that breaking news happens after this show, make sure you heard that there was going to be breaking news here first. Man, that's the fourth time I said that. It sounds dumber every single time I do it. Oh, my God. What is wrong with the media in the world today? Oh, my God. Anyway, guys, trending in the AM. Yeah. Oh, man. I got breaking news. I just can't tell you. What in the world is wrong with people? I can't even give you a glimmer of what the breaking news is. I don't want to reveal my sources. Oh, man. You will never hear me say I have sources. You'll never hear me say something asinine like that. But I may say, I guarantee you, mister, I make that joke at least 2 or 3 more times this week. At least. I got to go 90 minutes without a guest tomorrow. I guarantee I make that comment at least once tomorrow. Guaranteed. We'll get back to the running back conversation with the Eagles. Since, it was part of the conversation today, we didn't really cover it nonstop. Because I really want to get an idea of where running backs rank on Eagles fans' importance list. So we'll get that. We'll talk Sixers. Obviously, I got a poll question to put out there for later today. But everybody have a great day. Make sure you hit the like, share, subscribe button, guys. We'll be back tomorrow, 8 a.m. Another episode of Trending the AM in the books, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And as always, real quick, I didn't shout this out. Check out the shirt store. And shout out to whoever. Somebody bought something yesterday. I don't know who. I haven't gotten the email with the details. I just got an email. Saying someone bought a shirt, whoever it is, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Everybody have a great day. And as always, go Birds.